Hey everyone, I just wanted to hang out today and show you all a Mario Maker level that I made in Super Mario Maker 2! I haven't made any levels yet, so this is the first one that I ever put together, so it might be trash, but I tried my best. I thought I'd share it with you and just see how it goes. I figured that we could fill the Breath of the Wild 2 hole that is consuming all of our hearts, and we could make a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time inspired Lost Woods themed Mario Maker level madness fun time. So dust off your old cartridges because it's about to get nostalgic.
Hello everyone, this is your captain speaking. Prepare to enter 4:3 aspect ratio.
Ocarina of Time is such a nostalgic game for me, and there's so much love in my heart for it. It was one of the first games I'd ever seen that combined music as a proper game mechanic. Obviously it's not perfect though, there's a lot about it that's clunky and awkward, and the N64 controller feels like you're playing using a squid. Also, I forgot how attractive Link is in this game. Look at those damn polygons. In the game, the entrance to the Lost Woods is just behind Kakariko Village. To get there, you just have to climb up some vines, do a little shimmy-shammy up a slope, and then enter a hollow tree log that looks conveniently like a pipe. I'm going to use this little area as an intro, so you climb up the vines and make your way to the pipe, and then you finally enter the proper Lost Woods. Let's get making. So we're going to use the forest theme for this level because a forest is basically a wood, I think. What's the difference between a forest and a wood? Okay, so Google was very confusing, but apparently a wood has less dense tree cover, I think. There's some environmental knowledge for you people. I built the little intro viney, climby area, added some grass to make it feel nice, and chucked in a pipe. I've sped up the footage because if you watch me make this in real time, it would be like watching grass grow and be very painful, as I meticulously place blocks in the wrong places and then erase them immediately. I got down all the basics and I was feeling pretty good about it, and then naturally I got distracted and built this weird Master Sword mushroom pillar shrine, which wasn't really in the initial plan, but I thought it looked pretty good, so it's staying. And with that, the first area is complete, so let's move on to the next area. Before I created the next area, I checked to see if there are any maps online of the Lost Woods from Ocarina of Time, and conveniently I found this website called Ocarina of Time Map, which has a map, top-down and side kind of view of every single area in the game, which is really cool. It feels super weird though, it's like browsing through hidden secrets of this game that you grew up loving, and it's almost like someone's dissected it and pulled it apart. It was super helpful though, because it meant that I could plan out the route that I was going to use. At this stage I realized that you can only use, I think 10 warp pipes in Mario Maker 2, so I wasn't going to be able to do every area in the Lost Woods, and I had to kind of choose a path that I was going to go through. I also took the map and ended up flipping it on its side so it was more of a left to right Mario friendly trajectory. Anyway, so back to the first room of the Lost Woods. It's basically just a square with 4 pipes. So naturally I built a rectangle. This just made it easier to jump up and get through the pipe because gravity in Mario is a thing. I tried to make the room look a little better by adding some vines and a one-way platform, which also made it easier to reach the top pipe. And at this point I was pretty happy. It's super basic and minimal, but it felt good. Let's give it a test run. So you can start on the first area, climb up the vine, grab the Master Sword, and enter the first room. And then if you choose the wrong pipe in there, it spits you back out and you're back at the start again. Perfect. The only issue I have now is trying to figure out how to signal to the player which way they should go. It'd be a pretty bad move to just leave it to guesswork, because that would be infuriating to just have to pick pipes at random until you finally get the right one. My little peanut brain eventually figured out that I could put a pipe with a Master Sword spawner in each level, and the direction that the Master Sword is falling or being spawned into is the direction that you're meant to go. And with that, this area is complete, so let's move on to the next area. In the game, this next room has an upper and a lower level. There's a slingshot minigame on the upper level, and then on the lower level, there's an Ocarina of Memory musical game. I had no idea how I was going to turn this area into a Mario Maker room, so I just started building the foundations and decided I'd see where I ended up. I ended up adding some on-off barriers to the pipes, just so then you had to interact with the room a bit more before proceeding. This led to the idea of turning the 2 areas in the original game with the slingshot minigame and the musical minigame into things that you had to interact with in order to proceed. I initially tried to make a bow trick shot to replicate the kind of slingshot minigame, but I made it way too hard, and despite trying very for a very long time, it didn't seem like it was really realistic or possible to pull it off, so I made it a little bit easier. At this stage I added a little musical stage down the bottom and had a P block there, so that you had to hit the P block as well as the on-off switch in order to proceed through the pipes to the next area. And then I decided to move the P blocks, so that they're part of the slingshot minigame, so that the two little minigames are kind of linked together, so you have to do both of them, and it makes it feel a bit more cohesive. So you've got to go down, hit the P, go up, shoot the slingshot, and then you can proceed and choose which pipe you want to go through. Throw in a few props and enemies, and this area is pretty much complete. Whilst trialing this area, I found out that if you stay in a P block for too long, you can get stuck inside of them. I thought I might change it and try to fix that, but I don't know. I blame Nintendo. It was also at this point that I realized I hadn't saved any of my level. Please, people, back up your work. If the dinosaurs had backed up their work, they would still be here today, damn it. This is Carl.
Hi, I'm Carl, and I didn't back up any of my work, and now I am sad.
Don't be like Carl. So the next room that I wanted to work on was the one that has the passage to the Goron city. I was totally lost for ideas at this point, so I just started throwing anything at the wall, but nothing was sticking. It was just bouncing back and stabbing me in the eyes. All I could think of was Gorons? Bombs? Question mark? Gorons? Bombs? I tried springs and bombs, conveyors and bombs, donuts and bombs, one-way fire, donut bombs and bombs and bombs, bombs with bombs in bombs on fire with bombs, bombs inside of bombs that turn into bombs. Bombs! I ended up creating this little thwomp puzzle that I liked, so I just started running with that. After a bunch of testing and some more thwomps, I had this nice little puzzle level, which, you know, it had bombs in it, and it required you to be patient and kind of dodge around, and there was still some fire there, so I was happy with it. It felt alright, and I was ready to move on, because, dear God, I was ready to move on. On to the next room. Okay, so this room is the area that has the shortcut to Zora's domain in it. The only idea I had for this was kind of an underwater passage puzzle sort of thing that you needed to do to change the on-off switches so that you could keep going forward. I started off with my trademark rectangle, and then added a little side area that you needed to swim to. I messed around for ages trying to make this bow trick shot where you like fly up in the air and have to shoot mid-air and make a jump, and it was really clunky and terrible, and I hated it, so I ended up scrapping most of it, but I kept some of the elements like the little hookshot swing thing, and just ended up adding a small dash that you had to do in order to hit the switch. That's pretty much all I wanted to do for this area. It was feeling good. I added a couple more enemies, and we were kind of done, so let's move on. So looking at the map from the original game, the next area is basically just 4 pipes with a rock. There's a secret passage underneath the rock, so I basically just wanted to build a level that had a bombable rock that has a secret passage that you need to go down, which will have an on-off switch down there. Also, whilst exploring some of the secret underground areas in the game, I found this fish. I love this fish. This room actually ended up coming together really quickly. I added a few enemies that you had to get through to kind of stall your progress before you could bomb and then go down and just kind of swim about, jump up a spring, and you're on your way. And with that, we come to the final boss room. This room's going to be the boss fight that you have with the wolf thing in the Sacred Forest Meadow. I created a little podium shrine, like similar to that of the very first area, and then added some mushroom columns just to make it feel a bit grand and epic and like, whoa, this guy knows how to make a Mario Maker level. Throw in a sprinkling of baby Bowser and then season it with some piranha plants, and you got yourself a nice little final boss fight area. Whilst testing this, I kept forgetting that I could just block the fireballs with my shield, so it seemed way more intense than it probably really should have. And after testing out the boss fight, it felt pretty good, and that's pretty much it. That's my Lost Woods Zelda-inspired Mario Maker level done. I did go through and make some touch-ups to some of the areas and just fill out any little flaws and make them look a bit prettier. Also, when I added checkpoints, I realized that the polarity on some of the on-off switches was kind of funky, so I had to make like a bit of an on-off switch gate so that it would work properly and you couldn't just die and then immediately rush through. And with that, all I needed to do was upload it. Easy peasy. I hope you enjoyed seeing the process that I went through to make this kind of not great, but I tried Mario Maker level. If you want to give the level a play yourself, here's the code. Feel free to go and break it and tear it apart, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Hopefully we see each other soon. Thanks for watching. Do the subscribe, stay safe, pat your pets.